Why Japanese people stay slim without dieting. Have you ever wondered why, in the heart of Tokyo, amidst neon lights and bullet trains, you rarely see anyone overweight? I remember my first visit. I was standing at a crosswalk in Shibuya, watching hundreds of people pass by. Students in uniforms, elderly women carrying groceries, businessmen in sharp suits.
He really
Not
said
one
that
looked
to
out
the
of
teacher.
shape. It hit me like a whisper.
I can't believe it. That's
They're
hilarious.
not dieting. They're just
You
living.
should tell Kenji about this
So
later
what's their
tonight.
secret? Is it genetics? A superfood? Some ancient martial art hidden from the rest of the world? Or is it something much simpler? Something we've forgotten? In this video, we'll explore 8 powerful reasons why Japanese people stay slim without chasing diets, counting calories, or running marathons. You'll discover a school lunch system that teaches balance before math, a quiet rule that says stop eating before you're full, and a way of living where movement, mindfulness, and meals are woven into every day. By the end, you might not just understand why the Japanese stay slim. You might feel inspired to live that way yourself. Let's begin. The quiet secret in plain sight. When I first set foot in Tokyo, I wasn't thinking about health or weight. I just wanted to explore, eat sushi, ride a bullet train, maybe catch a glimpse of Mount Fuji. But something odd happened on my very first day. I was sitting at a cafe near Ueno Park, sipping green tea, watching people walk by.
Stop eating
After
before
10,
you're full.
20, nearly 30 minutes, I realized something. I hadn't seen a single overweight person. Not one. Students strolled past in uniforms. Elderly women pedaled slowly on bicycles. Young couples walked hand in hand. No one was jogging. No one was wearing athletic gear. Yet their bodies moved with ease. Light, balanced. It wasn't a fluke. Over the next 2 weeks, from Kyoto's temples to Osaka's night markets, I kept noticing the same thing. In a world where many of us are told to diet, sweat, restrict, and punish ourselves just to stay healthy, the Japanese seem to be doing the opposite and thriving. So I asked myself, what are they doing that we're not? Is it something in their genes? Maybe. Scientists say East Asians often have smaller body frames and slightly higher metabolisms. But
So
here's
where
the
should we
kicker.
head to next?
When Japanese people
I heard
move
there's
to
a new
America,
exhibit at the museum.
start
Oh,
eating
real?
like
Let's check it out
Americans, they
then.
gain weight like Americans. So no, it's not in their DNA. It's in their design. The way they eat, the way they move, the way they treat food and time and health.
What are you laughing at?
It's a quiet secret hidden in plain sight. A
I'm just
lifestyle
happy.
built not on willpower,
I love
but on
spending
daily
time
rhythm,
like this.
on culture, on care. And it begins earlier than you might think. Raised for balance, the school lunch that teaches life. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary lunch. A tray with a bowl of rice, a piece of grilled fish, a cup of miso soup with tofu, a handful of vegetables, maybe a slice of orange. But watch closely and something extraordinary unfolds. There are no cafeteria workers serving the food, no vending machines with sugary drinks. No one is rushing or complaining. Instead, a group of 10-year-olds in aprons and bandanas are carefully portioning out meals for their classmates, one bowl at a time. They bow politely. They serve equally. They wait for everyone before they eat. This isn't just lunch. It's a classroom lesson in balance, responsibility, and gratitude. In Japan, school lunches are designed by nutritionists, not corporations. They're cooked fresh every day, not microwaved, not fried, not frozen. And students are expected to eat everything, not because of punishment, but because of respect for the farmers, the food, the people who made it. There's no soda, no ketchup-laden pizza slices, no trays stacked with fries. Just simple food served in just enough portions, day after day, year after year. And here's the magic.
Here you
Children
go, one
raised on this
serving of
kind
stew.
of eating
Thank you for the
don't
meal.
grow up needing diets. They grow up knowing what balance feels like. They know what enough looks like. They know how to enjoy sweets without binging, how to value vegetables, how to eat without guilt. Can you imagine how different our relationship with food might be if we had been taught not just what to eat, but why? In Japan, that lesson begins with lunch. But food is only part of the story. The real magic happens when you stop eating before you feel full. The 80% rule, that defies modern overeating. Imagine sitting down at dinner and stopping before you're full, not because you're on a diet, not because you're counting calories, but because that's simply what feels right. In Okinawa, a region of Japan famous for having some of the world's longest living people, there's a phrase passed down like an heirloom. Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you are 80% full. It's not a rule. It's not a restriction. It's a way of listening to your body, your hunger, your enough. I once met an 84-year-old woman in Naha, Okinawa. Her name was Yoko. She moved slowly, but with grace. Her eyes sparkled when she smiled. And every evening, she would prepare her dinner, a bowl of brown rice, steamed vegetables, miso soup, and a sliver of grilled fish. When I asked her if she ever felt hungry after meals, she laughed and said, "No, I feel like that's how I sleep well." Science has caught up to what Yoko has known all her life. Eating until you're 80% full gives your stomach time to communicate with your brain. It reduces inflammation, stabilizes blood sugar, lowers risk of obesity and heart disease, and as Okinawa shows us, extends life. Compare that to what many of us were taught. Clean your plate. Don't waste food. Bigger is better. It's no wonder so many of us eat not to feel satisfied, but to feel stuffed. But what if we flip that script? What if instead of chasing fullness, we chase lightness? A gentle stop instead of an exhausting finish? That's not just how the Japanese stay slim. It's how they stay in tune with their bodies, their meals, and their years. But how do they stay satisfied with smaller meals? The secret lies in how they eat, with their eyes first, their heart second, and their mouths last. Ritual over rush, eating with eyes, mind, and heart. In the West, we often eat like we're running late. Lunch at the desk, dinner in the car, breakfast, if we remember. But in Japan, eating is not just a need, it's a ritual. Let me paint you a scene. A family sits down at a low wooden table in Kyoto. Each person holds their hands together and softly says, "Itadakimasu." It means, "I humbly receive." It's not a prayer, it's gratitude. To the farmer who grew the rice, the fisherman who caught the fish, the mother who prepared the meal. Then the meal begins, but not with forks or knives, with chopsticks.
The boy is
Small
really
bites,
enjoying the noodles,
slow
Father.
pace.
He certainly
Each
is.
dish, colorful,
It's
balanced,
good to see him eat
and
so
placed in
well.
its own small bowl. Not
いただきます。
piled high on a single plate, but arranged like art. There's green from the spinach, golden from the grilled sandwich, white from the steamed rice, earth tone from miso soup and pickled vegetables. It's a feast for the eyes before it's ever a meal for the stomach. And something magical happens when you eat this way. You eat slower. You taste more. You feel satisfied with less. Contrast that with scarfing down fast food behind a steering wheel or zoning out in front of TV. Fork in hand, not even remembering the last bite. In Japan, the meal asks for your attention. And in giving it, your body responds with calm, not cravings. I once heard someone say, "You either eat mindfully or mindlessly, but either way, you become what you eat." In Japan, the choice is clear, and it doesn't stop at the table, because how the Japanese move through their day is just as intentional as how they eat. Cities that make you move without trying. It was 7:12 a.m. in Tokyo. I stepped out of a tiny hotel room the size of a closet and joined the river of people heading to the station. Businessmen in suits, schoolgirls in uniform, retirees with shopping bags. No one was running. No one looked like they were exercising. But everyone was moving. By the time I reached the subway, I had climbed 3 sets of stairs, crossed 2 pedestrian bridges, and walked nearly half a mile. And I hadn't even started my day. This is what life looks like in Japan. Not workouts, but built-in movement. In most Japanese cities, cars aren't the default. Trains, subways, and buses are. And that means walking is part of every trip. To the station, from the station, upstairs, across platforms. Shops are close together. Streets are narrow. Elevators are rare. And whether you're 17 or 70, your body keeps moving because the city asks it to. Compare that to suburban life in many parts of America where the nearest store is a 10-minute drive, and the mailbox is closer than the mailbox emoji on your phone. We've made it easy
Hello,
to sit.
these apples look
Japan
delicious.
has made it hard not to move.
They
I
are
met
very
an
sweet today.
82-year-old man
We just got
named
them in.
Hiroshi in Osaka. He walks to the market every morning, rain or shine. He carries home groceries. He smiles at the bakery girl. He doesn't count steps, but he still clocks over 10,000 a day. I asked him if he ever went to the gym. He laughed and said, "Why? I have stairs." But there's another form of daily fuel that powers this lifestyle. Not protein shakes
Fresh
or energy
vegetables
bars,
over here.
but something
Best
much
price
simpler.
in the city.
A bowl of rice.
Get the
Rice,
salmon before it's
not
gone.
rolls. The clean carb that doesn't betray you. Let's talk about something that's been unfairly blamed for years. Carbs. In America, we've waged war on bread, pasta, and potatoes. Carbs make you fat. Carbs spike your blood sugar. Carbs are the enemy. But here's the twist. In Japan, people eat rice
Why
every
go to
single
the gym?
day.
I have
Sometimes
stairs.
3 times a day. And yet obesity rates remain among the lowest in the developed world. So what gives? It starts with what kind of carbs and how they're treated. In the U.S., carbs often come packaged with guilt. Butter-soaked rolls, pizza dripping in cheese, donuts loaded with sugar. By the time we eat them, they've been dressed up in fats, oils, and preservatives. But in Japan, rice is pure, almost sacred. A bowl of steamed white rice, nothing added, nothing fried. Just warm, clean energy, served alongside grilled fish, pickled vegetables, and a bowl of soup. It doesn't try to steal the spotlight. It just completes the picture. I once stayed with a Japanese host family in Sapporo. Every morning, breakfast was quiet and simple. A bowl of rice, miso soup, a boiled egg, and a piece of fruit. No cereal, no pancakes, no syrup. And I felt something I hadn't felt after breakfast in years. Steady energy, no crash, no craving, just enough. You see, rice doesn't betray you the way processed carbs do. It satisfies without seducing. It fills without overwhelming. It's not just about what you eat. It's about how simply you eat. But even with clean carbs and mindful eating, what about craving? What about dessert? Well, the Japanese have a sweet answer for that too. And it comes in the form of mochi, matcha, and moderation. Sweetness, reimagined. How Japan enjoys without overindulging. Let's be honest, we all love something sweet. A cookie after lunch, a slice of cake on birthdays, a scoop of ice cream on a summer night. But in many places, sweetness has lost its subtlety. Desserts are now double-decker, triple frosted, and served in buckets. So how is it that in Japan, where dessert is celebrated, not shamed, people stay slim? Because they treat sweetness like a whisper, not a scream. Walk into a traditional sweet shop in Kyoto, and you'll see shelves lined with delicate treats. Soft mochi dusted with kanako, matcha jellies that jiggle like glass, airy sponge cakes topped with single, perfect strawberries. Each one is tiny, artful, and lightly sweetened, not drenched in syrups or loaded with butter. I remember buying a matcha roll in Nara, smaller than the palm of my hand. It was $2, came in a tiny box, and felt like opening a gift. I took a bite and paused. It was just enough, rich in flavor, soft in texture, but not overwhelming. And because it was so thoughtfully made, one piece was plenty. In Japan, dessert isn't about volume. It's about value, quality over quantity. And here's something even more surprising. Everyday snacks are often savory. A handful of edamame, a roasted sweet potato, a rice cracker with seaweed. These satisfy, nourish, and avoid the sugar roller coaster that makes us crash and crave. They reimagine sweetness not as indulgence, but as balance. And maybe that's the real treat. Learning how to enjoy without overdoing. And that balance isn't just in food. It lives in their bodies, their pace, their years. Which brings us to the last, most inspiring piece of the puzzle. The elders who live long and live well. Lessons from the elders. Why longevity isn't just about living long. In the quiet hills of Okinawa, where the air smells of earth and ocean, you'll find some of the oldest and healthiest people on the planet. But don't imagine them sitting in rocking chairs, fading quietly. No, they're out tending gardens, dancing at festivals, walking to the market, laughing with friends. They aren't just living long, they're living well. One morning, I met a 97-year-old woman named Fumiko. Her hands were calloused from gardening. Her back was straight. She made us tea, laid out pickled vegetables and rice crackers, and said, "I don't fear age. I respect it." Her diet? Simple. Tofu, seaweed, seasonal vegetables, a bit of fish. No diet books. No supplements. No protein shakes. Just real food eaten slowly with thanks. Her lifestyle? Movement, not in the gym, but in the garden. Connection, not on a screen, but with neighbors. Purpose, not in chasing time, but in living it. What struck me most wasn't how youthful she looked. It was how peaceful she felt. There was no war between her and her body. No guilt around food.
And then
No
he
obsession
realized
with
the
thinness.
persimmons were already
Just balance,
gone.
gratitude,
Oh my
flow.
goodness, you always
In the
have
West,
the best stories,
we chase
Kenjiro.
longevity through science and supplements. In Japan, they earn it through consistency and care. And maybe that's the deepest lesson of all. Slimness is not a goal. It's a side effect of a life well lived. From school lunches to green tea, from mindful movement to joyful meals. The Japanese have built a culture where health isn't hacked, it's honored. The lesson for us all. The Japanese lifestyle isn't built on fads. It's not about restriction, guilt, or chasing perfection. It's about rhythm, gratitude, balance. A bowl of rice, eaten slowly. A morning walk to the market. A tiny dessert that delights, not overwhelms. And a quiet rule. Stop before you're full. They don't try to burn off food. They honor it. They don't fear aging. They welcome it. What if we stopped chasing quick fixes and started living with quiet intention? Because health isn't found in a bottle or a diet plan. It's found in the little choices, repeated daily, the ones that add up, not just to years but to joy. So maybe the real question isn't, how do the Japanese stay slim? Maybe it's, what part of their wisdom are you ready to welcome into your life? Ballot box would check smaller portions. Ballot box would check slower meals. Ballot box would check a short walk after breakfast. Whatever it is, start today. Equals if this video resonates. And you're ready to embrace aging with strength, grace, and purpose. Subscribe to Silver Age Wellness. This channel is for your journey, your health, and your second act. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of gentle guidance, inspiring stories, and science-backed wisdom for a long, vibrant life. You're not getting older. You're just getting started.